where I'm going. For me, writing is like music. It's very difficult to first you compose a piece of music, and then you can concentrate on performing it as beautifully as possible. But it's very hard to compose while you're performing. So I take that same approach to my writing. I outline everything before I start writing it, and then I outlined the whole series before I began Eragon, and then I've outlined each individual book in greater detail before beginning it. And that's what allows me to get through something that's, 800-900 pages long. And I highly recommend outlining to all of you as well. Yes, the guy who's jumping back there. Is the character of Angela one of the Grey Folk? In the words of my immortal sister, no comment. If you ever meet her in person, however, you're welcome to ask her. You won't get an answer, but you'll probably get a funny line. In the hat. You'll have to shout. Possibly. Possibly. And I'm not going to repeat the question because it was a bit spoilery, but possibly. Yes. Will I ever write a part of another book or story about Angela? Actually, I should just answer the larger question here because I know it's going to be asked. Yes, I do plan to return to Eragon's world at some point in the future. I laid the groundwork for it in both Brissinger and Inheritance. There are actually a few little side things which lead into the future books that I would like to tell in Eragon's world. That said, I don't plan to do that immediately. I'm going to go write some... I've been doing this for 13 years. I'd like to try a few other things first. So I think I'm going to do some science fiction next. Yes, way in the back, and you are going to have to shout. How many hours a day do I commit to writing? Well, that depends if there's a deadline or not. And in the mortal words of Douglas Adams, who wrote The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, and every writer has loved him ever since for saying this, I love deadlines. I love the sound they make as they whoosh past. But seriously, if don't have a deadline, I get up, I grab breakfast, get my brain working with some tea, and I work until early afternoon, 2 or 3, and then I take a break. If I have a deadline, I get up in the morning, I grab breakfast, I sit down at my computer, I work till lunch, I eat lunch while working, and I keep working till dinner, break for dinner, and start working again after dinner, and probably stay working in way too late. And that's how you get a big book done. Okay, yes, in the back. You are going to have to shout. Since the elves are this is a great question. Since the elves are vegetarian, why does my elf princess wear leather? Hot leather pants. Because she was given them by the dwarves during her time staying with them in the Varden. See? The author always has an answer. Yes. Will I write anything else about Eragon or the other main characters? When I return to Alagasia, yes, it's safe to say that we will see some of the main characters again, although not necessarily all of them. You're writing a book, do I have any tips? Oh boy. Well, very quickly, I would say read. Read what you love, but also read what you don't love, because you'll learn more from that than you will just from staying in your own circle of interest, okay? But read consistently. 2, write consistently. I don't care, unless you're in the hospital, and maybe even then, write every day. Write on holidays, weekends, birthday, Christmas. Okay, you can take Christmas off, but birthdays, you've got to write on your birthday. Find someone who can help edit your work. You will learn more from editing than you ever will from writing. Family, teacher, friend, someone who can give you constructive criticism and help you become a better writer. Learn everything you can about the language that you're writing in. The language is the tool of the trade. The better you understand it, the better you'll be able to get what's in your head onto the page into someone else's head. And then also, write about whatever it is that you care about the most. Don't let other people tell you what you should write. I don't care what you're interested in. There are 7 billion people on this planet. Someone else out there likes what you like. And if you enjoy writing about flying toasters or unicorns or anthropomorphic cars, it does not matter. Write about it. And lastly, try to have fun. You don't have to have fun every day, but try to have fun. Let's see, we'll just take a few more questions here. Yes?
What's your favorite piece of literature?
What's my favorite piece of literature? Well, aside from my own books, I'm very fond of A Wizard of Earthsea and the 2 sequels by Ursula K. Le Guin, Dune by Frank Herbert, The Mabinogion Tetralogy by Evangeline Walton, which most people have not heard of, but it's a desert island book for me. I'm blanking here for a second. 1 second. The Mabinogion the Gormenghast trilogy by Mervyn Peake, The Worm Ouroboros by E.R. Edison, and Wild Seed by Octavia Butler. So those books will keep me very happy on a desert island. Yes? Why is this now 4 books instead of 3 books? Well, if it had been 3 books, this last book would have been about 2,000 pages long. And I don't know about you, but I draw the line at about 1,000 pages, both as a reader and as a writer. So once you're getting past that, you're verging into Atlas Shrugged territory, or War and Peace, and, you know, that just sort of becomes too heavy. Yes? Leather blocker, yes? Mainly because there's more of them. They're this degeneration cycle. So, no problem. Good question. Yes, with the beard. Nice beard, by the way. What's my favorite book in the inheritance cycle? Well, I will always be fond of Eragon because it was the first book I wrote. But I'm very proud of Inheritance, and I think it's the best book in the series. If we just go by weight, I could just say the last book, you know, but I really do think it is the best book. Yes?
The words that Ron mentioned right before he died, are those...
No spoilers.
But no, I'm saying, are they ever...
I'll answer that when you come through line, okay? I don't want to say it in front of the whole audience. I'm going to take 2 more questions here. Yes? Sorry, can you say that again? Do the fans' theories influence what I write? No, they don't, and I don't make a habit of reading them for that very reason. Although my favorite one, which my dad actually told me, he read it on a website somewhere, was that Angela the Herbalist was actually Galbatorix. and that Eragon would get to, you know, the capital and get to the throne room and throw open the doors, and instead of Galbatorix on the throne, it would actually be Angela the Herbalist. And my response to that was, that's totally awesome, but if it's true, Eragon's totally doomed. Yes. Hat. Snood. Whatever. What is my biggest combat against writer's block? I have 2 very easy fixes for writer's block. 1, go for a walk at least 5 miles long. And I'm not joking. Writers throughout the ages have used walking as a way to clear their minds. And, you know, Joyce Carol Oates, Charles Dickens, and many, many others. In fact, Alan Dean Foster, the sci-fi author, he writes his books dictating while hiking mountains. Walking always helps me. Second of all, it would be to write about what you think is cool and to plot everything else out beforehand. Plotting is the way I avoid writer's block. Mind you, writer's block is different than procrastination. You have to learn the difference. Procrastination is when you don't want to write, but you know how to write and what to write. Writer's block is when you want to write and you can't write. There's definitely a difference there. Well, I wish I could answer all your questions here, but we've got a lot of books. However, I'll be very happy to answer your questions as you come through the line, but I think we should get signing here. So, I just want to thank you guys for coming here. This has been a real pleasure.